Well, it's 8 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't know about that thing on top, I'm not sure about that. I don't know what that is. Greg might know. Yeah.
Yep, it's rolling.
Is that, what about that top piece, what is that? It looks like a piece of plastic on it, it's supposed to be on there?
This?
Oh, that's just.
That's the microphone.
You can generally see the image, right? You know, is there a cap on that
No,
thing?
usually it's just turned this way.
There you are.
I don't know if everybody's had a chance to go over the minutes of November 22nd. If so, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
They got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Yep.
Got a second, any more discussion? Here none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Claims list. Has everybody had a chance to go over them?
I move for approval.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Here none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Everybody knows everybody here, so if we move on to treasurer's report.
Morning.
Morning. Good morning, Carl.
Got my monthly treasurer's report in the file. If you have any questions, let me know. Not, can I get a motion to approve?
Why would we be 269,000 short of taxes this year compared to last year?
We still have taxes to collect this year.
Was that much that people haven't paid in yet?
We've received some sense this time too, beginning of December last year. But yeah, we got last year.
Is that part just from the last quarter, or is that from
That's-
earlier quarters, or
All year.
so some of the first quarter?
That's
Still out
January. I sent letters out and it will be advertised next week in the paper. For the different things.
Include the names?
Mhm.
Good.
Is that kind of common when commodity prices are lower?
I couldn't tell you.
I never paid any attention before. You know, like grain prices. Lower.
I think that Jim, you made a motion, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Here none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed.
And we had another request for partial payment at Treasurers Trust.
This one?
This one, yeah. Record number 5245. She called me and she offered to have her employer withhold the money from her check and mail us directly payments for it.
How much?
She was saying $200 every 2 weeks. I think that's a lot, I mean, that's $400 a month, but it'd be great if she could do it.
Yeah,
That seems like quite a bit.
I would agree.
If we set it up for less, I could still do that much and get it paid off.
I would think that'd be the smart way to do it, wouldn't it? Set
Yes.
it up for less, and if you can pay more, pay more.
I would do like $100 a paycheck, cut it in half maybe, because you're setting her up for failure at $400 unless she makes
She
really, really
works for
good.
Fabric Tech.
I would probably do the $100 a paycheck. And we do a wage assignment that the employer just takes it out and does it to us, which is good, so.
But I mean, if she wants to do the.
Do more, that's their option, yep.
Be great if she did more, but without on a contract and she couldn't keep it up.
What's the total that she owes?
It's on the list there, it's $4,375.51. 2011 certificate, so next year we would be taking the property. It'd be nice to help them out and get it paid off.
She wants to do $200 twice a month. I think she might have made a mistake there. She's gonna do $100 twice a month.
That's what we're gonna do the contract for though. Yeah, because that seemed like a lot of funds.
I'm gonna be out of work shortly. I think I'll go there. If they're getting that kind of money, I'll go there and get a job.
Okay.
Is that mailing address the same as the legal, that 314 or 315?
315, I believe it is.
Okay.
What's that? Okay, I'll need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to set it for $100 a day for a total of $200 a month.
Starting when?
January.
We got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Second.
We got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nyla.
No, you said that Murray was waiting for his contract.
Yes, Jamie's getting it.
Okay, I'll need a motion to sign the agreement with NECOG 2017.
I'll make that motion. They've helped us out a lot.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay, motion passed. Okay, then I need a motion to approve liquor license for the Campground Lodge.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, lounge.
Who owns that? Whose name is that under?
Junior and Tina Thompson.
Where is it at?
It's at the end of the runway. They have a campsite set up there that, they have a little bar set in their campground,
Where's that at?
right at the north end of the runway in Mobridge.
Oh, really?
The north end, the runway. I need a sheltered life.
Is there a requirement that they have to sell so much liquor out there or anything like that?
With NECOG in them.
No.
Two.
Is there?
Well, I don't know if they have to sell so much, there's, in the traffic, there's a requirement, they gotta be open so many days.
They gotta be open like 90 days a year
Are they open 90 days a year?
in the summertime.
I didn't even know it was there.
They don't advertise a lot, but
Is that zone commercial then, and all that stuff?
right now it is, but then they might have to move it because of the airspace around the airport, they're changing that. So it might have to get moved, I don't know.
What's that, the license like you used to have?
make that motion.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion passed.
I'll make the motion to reappoint Leo Rookie for Veterans Officer. He does a heck of a good job down
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion on the floor and a second to reappoint Leo Rookie. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Okay, discussion regarding Marcy's Law.
That is me.
I figured that.
As you all know, it went into effect right after the ballots were canvassed statewide. And I guess the question I need to ask you guys is how proactive or reactive do you want the county to be with regard to this? If you read the letter from Mr. Anderson, it is a very good letter that points out the liabilities that we are going to have with regard to the implementation of that law. And basically it boils down to the sheriff and the state's attorney is roughly about 90% of the liability with regard to non-compliance with regard to that. The direction we're getting out of Pier is extremely limited as far as what the requirements are, what we're going to be required to do. They did give us a victim's card, but most of the other counties and governments are kind of doing this on the fly. And I guess and when I say on the fly, is spending money to hire more staff to deal with this. I've talked to Mark Crucci, who is the state's attorney in Campbell County. He's addressing the same thing with his county commission, if he hasn't already, on what's going to happen. I guess my question to you is, how proactive or reactive do you want to be on this?
Did Jackley get done with their big task force meeting?
It'll be months. They're,
He released a statement yesterday.
that they have a committee and stuff, but as far as what to do, who to report, what can we release, all of that stuff, extremely limited.
The little bit of information I got out of it from yesterday's release was that you can release names, locations.
Yep. And that's just a small fraction of it, as far as victims, keeping in contact with victims, what's the definition of a victim? A lot of that stuff is extremely, so. And, yeah, most of this is fly by the seat of your pants, unfortunately.
If we don't have set guidance of what we're supposed to do, how are we supposed to go about doing it?
That's the whole dilemma. And it's not gonna stop us from getting sued, because the law's already in effect.
They gotta have some kind of idea that, well, if there's no direction out there,
That's exactly right. And that is done at a higher level than this group, so.
exactly, so. I guess my idea would be to wait and see what comes out of that task force committee from Yackley.
That's fine. I'm just telling you that the exposure's out there right now. And whether you want to be proactive or reactive, that's your decision to make.
Well, what's your thinking on it? I mean,
I have no clue. I don't. I don't have any more than you do. I know that there's just a lot of unknown out there on what the responsibility is. What I mean, there are some guidelines on what we know, but it's just like this is a huge problem.
If we don't even have a definition of a victim,
Well, how far out a victim goes, whether
we can hire 10 people for your office
that's what I'm saying is, but
And-
you need to, I would say not right now.
and start,
We need to get some more clarity, I would agree on that. But I would anticipate this is going to cost the county more money. Just to give you FYI, and we may be talking with other counties to kind of, work together on a full-time employee or something like that if it needs to go that far, but,
Just go.
And then that would be half with you and half with the sheriff department, right?
well, the sheriff's responsibilities are a little bit different, and that's something that we need to discuss with them. As far as Walworth County reporting who gets released from jail, if there's a victim, you have to notify the person, and there's other requirements there, but, the question is are we going to do that for the other counties that we contract with? And take on that responsibility? Because it's also in, my understanding is applicable to North Dakota too, so,
Will these
I don't
different
know.
tracks be notified before we can release somebody out of there?
it's supposed to be.
Or do we have to do that for other counties?
Well, that's the question. I mean, that's not our responsibility. We're just, for our prisoners, we have to notify them.
Yeah.
But as far as out-of-county contract prisoners, we need to discuss that with Josh if he's gonna take on that responsibility, because if he is, he should be charging a lot more money. As far as taking on that responsibility, or is he gonna push that back onto the counties? That,
This should get pushed back onto the counties for themselves to.
that's something that's gotta be figured out.
The counties would have court records of what happens in the court, so they.
We can't go up into Morgan County and contact all those people.
We would be doing it by phone, I suppose, but like, say if your bond's set at $2,000 cash, and you sit in jail for a day and a half and somebody brings up the cash, whose responsibility is it gonna be to notify the victim that you just posted bond? Is it gonna be our county jail, or is it gonna be Morton County, or Burley County, or whomever?
Could be any time of day or night.
That's right, I could show up at 4 in to post your bond. So,
Can you pass some of this on to the judge?
he's already, I mean, as far as,
Whatever, as much as you can, responsibility, if he's posting bond, wouldn't the judge accept that?
that
He
has
sets
not-
the bond, right?
right, he sets the bond, but you can post your bond anytime to get out of jail.
But when he sets the bond, then can he say that so-and-so and so-and-so needs to be made aware of the fact that the bond may be posted or is posted?
Well, the victim would know that they're sitting in jail on a bond. Next step would be is you have to notify them that that person's released. And what conditions are on that bond and stuff like that, so. But I would, if you haven't read that letter from Mr. Anderson, I would it's a very good letter that spells out our liabilities that are coming down the pipe with regard to, what we can get sued over.
I can imagine some of them,
Cause did everybody get one? I think Becky was gonna give everybody one, so,
yeah, I got one in there.
yeah.
I must
This
have
one.
the last one, the last meeting.
Yeah, but yeah, I would definitely read this one, it's pretty good as far as, that's all I have.
Well, we'll move on. We'll go to number 11, discussion regarding 4-H advisors.
We had a meeting with Campbell County, and it was decided between us that for right now, we're gonna do a part-time. We do have a lady that just moved back here, and her interview is at 10:30 today to hire for part-time position. If we stay part-time, SDSU will pay half of it. So then Campbell County would pay half, and Campbell County and us would pay a quarter of it. She's not interested in going full-time yet, cause she's got a young son. Our feeling was, let's get this one, let's interview her, if she's good, let's stay part-time, give her 2 or 3 months and see how she's doing. See if she is doing a good job, see if she would wanna go full-time or advertise for a full-time position. If we do go full-time, SDSU will not pay for any of it.
Wasn't Marissa part-time?
Yes. But that's the only way that South Dakota, or SDSU will pay for anything is if it's a part-time position only because of their budget cuts. They're not taking on any more positions or increasing to full-time. So, I guess, that's what we decided as a group. Do you guys agree with that, or?
Sounds good to me.
No difference to me.
Great, that's all I got.
Where was, I think you might have told me she from around right here, or where she?
She just moved here from Wyoming, I believe.
Selby area?
Yeah. Was out just west of the motel out here somewhere. So Olson. Crystal Olson, I think was her name.
Alrighty. Did you tell Ben?
Yeah.
Oh, she's right there.
This isn't a new position, is it? This is
No.
replacing someone that had been there. And the one that had been there had been part-time.
Just in time.
I hope I was fast. Just want to talk to you a little bit about 4-H. I have a request, those chalkboards downstairs that we initially used to record elections on, and they are so old. I'm wondering if I can look into how much it would cost turning them into bulletin boards and use them for 4-H instead. And then I wanted to let you know the Grassland Grazers did receive their Building Our South Dakota Rural Communities. The grant is for improvements to the 4-H wash area at the livestock barn. A new pad will be added to the north of the one that's there already. And it will be 16 by 13. It actually is maybe a foot bigger than the one that's to the south. We would start in the spring. And we just want to make sure that we're okay to go ahead with this project. We're not asking for any funds from you. The Grassland Grazers will be supplying about $150 almost of their own money, and the grant itself was $750. 4-H will do all the work. We don't need, I don't think the county will need to do anything. I know we'll be digging it out ourselves. I know that Jensen Rock and Sand will be involved. As one of our community within Walworth County to help with that. So we want to make sure that we can go ahead with that. And then my questions on the storm shelter, has Ryan been able to have you been able to discuss that? About what's going to happen there? I have to have some kind of plan in effect. And remember, I not only have Walworth County, I have Campbell County there. So I have to have some kind of plan in effect that I have to turn into the state ASAP of where I'm taking these people for a storm shelter when we're at the 4-H livestock barn. If you have any questions, that's all I have about 4-H. I just kind of wanted to bring some of that stuff up. I have some stuff for our county welfare.
Okay, let's get through the 4-H stuff first.
Okay,
Anybody got a problem with taking those chalkboards down and putting up?
I don't.
we would be saving the frames, which are the old part of it. But this is back when her stuff was running. And I don't know in my eyes if there's any historical value there. Do you, Kevin?
No. Bush was the president, so.
the first bush.
I don't think anybody's got a problem with it.
No.
So I will look into that then and give you a price. I'll never do it until I talk to you, but I'm thinking that I can very cheaply get some, like that cork that unrolls and put in front of the board, so if we ever wanted to, you know, we keep the frame, we wouldn't, you know, as cheaply as possible, because I am frugal, to say the least, and I protect that budget.
Okay, the second item, the wash pad, I'm all for it. I don't see a problem with the wash pad. Anybody else?
Sounds great to me.
And we'll get with Ryan when he comes back on the storm shelter.
Have you visited with Shannon about the storm shelter?
I have not.
That might be a good start, cause she's been working on getting all that stuff set up in the different towns.
Okay. I'll talk with Shannon. I didn't even think about that, because I was just going by what I knew was in our community here, you know, and the closest place would be to bring them here, or the school would be the next closest place.
I know she's at conference today and tomorrow, I think, up here.
So I'll get hold of her next week.
Then, I told everybody about the advisor deal that we're doing. What was her name, Crystal Olson?
Mhm.
She just moved here from Wyoming,
Mhm.
so I let everybody know and they're in agreements with what we decided at our last meeting, so.
We will be interviewing her today. Now, she's still, understand, she's still going to be, as the temp, she is still under SDSU. And we will have to give our as a group, I will send what you guys decide, the recommendations, and then they'll take it from there.
Okay.
Walworth County Welfare, first page, I actually had 3 claims in that in the year 2013, I have 2 left. One was partially paid, and they were still requesting monies, and I had to give them the statute that said no, if they accepted payment from an insurance company or whatever, then they couldn't come back to the county for more money. Jamie and I are currently still discussing those first 2, trying to work out an agreement. I feel that we shouldn't pay them, and I still feel that way because of the things that just can't be established. Case 16A, 10, I'm still corresponding with them because this one should not be paid, because definitely they were not a resident of the county. They actually paid their incomes, their taxes for that year in another state. So that tells me right there, you can't come and live on somebody's couch, or your daughter can't come home and take care of you for a week and then get sick and claim she's a resident of the county. And this is kind of what the deal is going on. Cases that are still ongoing, we've lessened them quite a bit on the second and third ones, case 15A1 and 15A2. I did finally get a hold of the individual, and we'll be speaking with that individual, and resent another application. So, in the process of getting a letter off to the attorney for Rivera St. Luke's, stating we are still in the process, I believe.
Cindy.
Becky got a letter from the attorney about these 2 cases, about wanting to bring it up to the commissioners to see what we have. So I'm looking, I'm telling you at this point, the letter will be sent back to the attorney that said, you know, we're currently getting that application finally from them, and I finally tracked this individual down. And it's a slow process someday. Sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it goes slow. I do have 2 cases at the very bottom that I would like you make a motion on to deny. 16B7 was an involuntary hold, but after doing some digging, the individual actually is living with a parent, and actually just came down from Ward County in North Dakota. I verified this by, from the last hospital engagement that the individual had had and who had paid. And then case 16B8, this individual, after some digging, was covered under Medicaid at the time of the incident. So I've let the hospital know, so I would need a motion for that one as well.
We'll make a motion to deny 16B7.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Okay.
Got a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
And I'll also make a motion to deny 16B8.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Second.
Got a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
The last thing I have for you is I gave you a copy of the medical billing for the jail. As you can see, it's got the date of service, the actual cost of the bill, the amount actually paid, monies that we saved in the day that I actually received it and was able to voucher it up to the auditors. We are doing very, very well. I just want to say the jail has been working with me and they stay in contact, so we're not missing them and getting surprise bills for $7,000 for the year before. I'm also currently checking, I've checked with the Bureau of St. Luke's, we are current with them on all of their stuff. And I'm checking with the hospital and clinic today because that person was out of the office that I speak to is on vacation. And I'm making sure that things are being taken care of there as well. We tend to get the clinic bills pretty fast, finally, but sometimes some of those hospital ones are kind of hanging out there in La La Land. So I know I have an ambulance, one from Selby that I have to get yet, and I know that there could maybe be something else to let the hospital in Mobridge. But for the year, it looks like it's finally, like we're finally getting on this track and communicating, and things are really getting down, so we're getting them taken care of right away. We aren't leaving anybody paid, or the prescription drugs for the jail too. We've finally gotten that worked out and found where the problem was, and hopefully all of that will kind of take care of itself. And if you have any questions, I'll answer them, but that's pretty much it for me.
Are these that are being paid, do they go back on to the individual to reimburse us for?
The county that they come from. So say if we paid for Burley County for a like say this first one for 4/13/2016, that bill would be Burley County's. They should be reimbursing us for that.
But we're trying to alleviate that as much as possible too, and getting it worked out so they're going directly to their counties and not to us. We still have a few glitches there, but I think last year I finally collected the last money that was owed for prisoners from other counties. It
So
took a
most of
little
these
bit,
then are
but
just Walworth County
Yes.
prisoners? Okay.
Yes, most of these should be.
Does that go back on to the prisoner reimbursing the county for this then too, or?
Yeah, we put a lien on them.
Okay. Are we getting any of that money back, or?
Some, we send out statements as everything comes in.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else for Brenda? Not? Thank you.
Thank you, thanks for your time.
Okay, we'll go to number 13, City of Mobridge and City of Selby equalization resolutions.
I had sent, we had that one resolution from Mobridge, and at first we thought, being they sent a resolution that it didn't require any action on the part of the commission. Found out later that you have to also agree with it and make a motion that says you agree to be the consolidated board with the City of Mobridge. And that, we needed to do that by the last meeting in November, but you had sort of acted on it. We kind of thought if they sent a resolution, that's all it took. We found out you do have to make a motion to agree with it. The city of Selby was notified at the same time the city of Mobridge was. They never reacted at all. I didn't get a resolution, I didn't get a phone call. So the way the law reads, that means they have to do their own equalization.
Selby does?
They never reacted to the email that I sent at all. Didn't even call, to see what I was talking about, so. Mobridge did. Mobridge had theirs in time. It's just that we just need to take a little bit further action on that one than what we originally did. So if you, what it amounts to is if you guys agree to sit as the Consolidated Board of Equalization with Mobridge, you can just, I think, can't they, Jane, just make a motion to approve that resolution?
Yep.
We originally thought if they made a resolution, you guys didn't have a choice, and then I checked with the Department of Revenue, and that's not how they read the law. They read the law that you have to agree with that in order for it to be accepted. And this is the first year we've done this, so I really don't know what to tell. By law, we should not be a consolidated board for Selby. Being we've not been following that law, I don't know how you really might want to handle that.
That's exactly right. You've been in a consolidated board for everyone except for what, Akaska and
Well,
Glenham?
Well, Glenham, we have never, and last year, Glenham has always done their own, and last year, Akaska and Javel also did their own along with Glenham. So last year, you were only a consolidated board with Mobridge and Selby.
so what we do like with Selby, I mean, how can we,
Let them do their own.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. I mean, we're past the date, but we really need to make that resolution for Mobridge if you guys want to do consolidated boards with them. And then, I'm afraid, and I think you agree, Scott, that this is probably gonna become an issue with Selby, so I thought we should get decided how you wanna handle it in the end, so.
I know two of them talked to me, and I just thought they had, talked to you and stuff, so I mean, two of their
I was surprised because they
city
never
council
called.
talked to me, and
Yeah,
we
they
were
never
adamant
called.
about it.
Never called and never sent another email with any questions or anything, so.
I'm guessing that they're pretty much figuring that they don't react to it, it's just gonna stay the same. I guess that's how they're figuring. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how two of them talked to me as.
But I told them in the email, you have to have a resolution, here's the law. I thought maybe, they would call and say what kind of a resolution or something, nothing. No response at all.
I'll make a motion that we act as a consolidated board with Mobridge.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I'm gonna need a second.
And that's to, what you're saying, Kevin, is that you agreed to and approved that resolution that they sent?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll need a second. Hearing none, the motion would be dead.
So what are we gonna do?
Send them a letter saying they're doing their own board.
Do we have to have a motion that the board did not agree, or is just if they don't act, is
I
that
don't know.
enough?
Well,
I
the
think
motion
we need-
should show that, won't it?
I think we need a motion,
I would make a
either
motion
to
to
agree.
deny it.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
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 I'd abstain, I'm not involved next year, so I'm just neutral. I don't care what you do.
And the way I understand it, you can't vote Scott to tie it. Which I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what
I think he is right. But I'd have to check to make sure, to be honest. And whether you can vote to move it, whether the chair can vote to move it into a tie.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so.
And my understanding is if it is a tie,
The chair can break it,
Yeah,
but I don't know if the chair can vote to put it into a tie.
or if it ends up in a tie, then it just has to be brought up again at the next meeting until it's no longer tied, I don't know.
Or would it help if I said nay and then it's a tie and then you can break it?
Yep.
You do what you want to.
Right now, I would say that you would have to restart over and say that the first one, denied, and then you
You
can.
should have actually declared your abstinence before we voted.
Yeah, that is true.
Maybe we should start over.
Okay, so what do we have, Becky? First,
That way.
there's a motion to have them act
You
as
can still
consolidated,
abstain,
No,
but,
deny the resolution.
okay?
so, I mean,
The
And
first
it was
motion,
voted on it
was not
technically,
voted on.
okay, was not voted
The
on.
first one died from lack of a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
Well,
And
we're
then the
motion
second
to
one
deny.
was,
The second one was how to deny, and Seaman seconded.
okay, so technically,
If you're gonna
that one
abstain.
passed, because we have
Oh,
a yes vote, a no vote, an abstain, and then a no vote. So right now, we have
a tie.
a tie, which I don't think you can move it into a tie, so technically it is passed.
That's the way I understand that to work.
So now the next thing you would have to do is have to have someone rescind that motion that was just approved.
Well, that's, Dwayne might just abstain from it, period. Will you abstain from it? But it would have to go that way, otherwise it's, I mean, somebody would have to rescind that motion in order to do it over.
Which if he actually abstained
Yep.
anyway, it would have still been the same outcome.
Right.
Should have just,
What it is what it is. That's the way I look at it.
So I will check to make sure that we did it right. And, if we did it, where I don't think the chair can vote to put it into a tie, then it would be that City of Mulberry is doing their own board. Is what I think you just voted to do. So, and if it is, if the chair can move it into a tie, then we have a tie and we'll have to address it next meeting.
My impression always was that the city or any entity could request to do their own, but if they choose not to, then the county must. That's not true.
That's what I thought too, and then Deb called Peter.
We had that law and we weren't, because we just weren't sure how it was interpreted, so I checked with the Department of Revenue and they said they have to make a resolution to request.
What about the school districts?
The school districts are always just involved. They don't ever sit alone as a board of equalization. They should, you know, like, Selby School District almost always sends a representative, and they can meet, they also are like representative at the county board level. I think that, the superintendent came one time to a consolidated board here, but they've never sent, because the superintendent can't vote because he's not a member of the school board. But Mobridge has never sent a member of their school board to become a voting member of the consolidated board.
Selby always says, didn't it?
Selby almost, yeah, every year I think, and Selby has.
Then what would be the process? Would you then, like in Glenham, how do you do it? Do you get all the property records? And then you go through them, and then you equalize?
they just
You
get
look
the-
at each property and decide?
They just get the equalization, book, the printed book for the current year.
Well, then how do you have enough information to determine whether you're equalized or not?
That's
I
just
mean,
how.
you just
the-
have one line of information, right?
Right,
So how can you possibly do that?
Well, they would get the same stuff we get, wouldn't they?
no, unless, if they had some people that appealed to them and.
Yeah.
And they would request it from me, I would give it to them. Glenham has just, and I think, like, if you go to other counties, they have many townships that are organized, and the feeling is that in a township, in a town, the people on the board know the properties to some extent. Yeah, that's just how it's always been. In Perkins County, we had 66 organized townships that all had their own boards, and then the towns, and they all did their own.
So then, like when Glenham and Acaska did their own last year, and if they, then you, the county, then reviews that, right?
Right, I get their minutes and see what actions they've taken. If the people who appealed are not happy with the actions of the town board, they can then appeal to the county board.
And if they are happy,
It just
and
pretty much.
what if you're not?
I can appeal it, but basically, I should only appeal it if they do and at one point Glenham did this, and we did appeal it, many years ago. They just rolled everything back, and that board doesn't have the ability to do that. Then we appeal pretty much everything back to the county.
So if everything from the county, from the city board comes to you and everybody's happy at the city level, then it just goes
It
on to.
stays that way for 1 year. That's, do you remember the appeal we had from Terry Warren a couple of years ago?
I do.
That was an appeal from a decision from the Glenham board.
He brought that to the
He
county.
brought that appeal to the county because he was not pleased with what the Glenham city board had done with him.
But you can also appeal if you disagree with the Glenham City Board.
Yes.
Okay.
But chances are, if the city board agrees, they have no complaints. If everyone is happy with what the city board has done, then you are generally happy as well. But you
Yes.
can, if there's
Something very,
if there's something wrong in your eyes, then you
I can.
can bring it to this board.
Right. And they can, if they don't appeal to the city board, they can't appeal to the county board. And it's the same, it graduates. If they don't appeal to the city board and the county board, they cannot go to the city.
They can't?
No. They have to follow
You have to
the
start from the very
process.
beginning.
So it gives them, it gives them another chance to have their appeal heard down the road.
So then I guess it really wouldn't have made any difference if Selby would have done it or not, the way it turned out. With mortgage, Selby
If,
would have.
if that's the way you would have voted for Selby too, yeah.
I would think if you vote for one, that way
Yeah.
you would vote for two that way.
I would think so. I'll be happy to attend their meetings if they want me to. And the way Glennon's always done it is long, he's just said, I'll call you if we need any answers.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Thanks, Deb.
Yep.
All right, then we'll move on. Number 14, consider motion surplus record number 6761.
That's that one that we're buying back. You wanted it on this agenda to
Was that
surplus
that
it?
property?
Yeah, we haven't gotten it, the deed recorded yet, so we'll just continue that. We'll put on next meeting. is that the right number? No, I don't think that is
I
it?
think so, I
Is
looked.
that round?
Yeah,
Cause
this
there's two legals.
one was like 324 for that one. or
Yeah,
something.
you're right then. Yeah, we'll just move it to the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to 15, discussion regarding jail roof issues.
Just telephone call.
Or we can just jump to number 16 then, or we can wait for him too for that.
He on the phone out
Can I just go on the record as thanking the board for the days that you had people come in late and the days that you called off for weather? It's much appreciated. Just wanna go on the record as saying we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's go to number 16, consider motion to approve wage increase of 50 cents with Kimberly Longbreak for completion of certification.
I just gave her a raise, didn't
She went from a different, she's a lieutenant or something like that, went to a different,
there. I think she took Marissa
yeah,
Mickelson's spot as commander or whatever, another step up originally, and then
How many steps is there, I guess, is what I'm wondering.
I don't know,
I think,
14, 15, I don't know.
I was
One
thinking
for
3 or
each
4.
jail person.
3, I think, that I know of.
I think you have regular jailer, then you have like 2 supervisors, and then you have,
Sergeant, corporal, lieutenants.
I don't know then, I don't know, I have to ask Josh.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Any other discussion on that?
Can we wait until Josh explains some of this before we vote?
Yep.
'Cause I don't understand how she can be a lieutenant if she hasn't completed her certification. Why are we,
I'm thinking,
how can she jump up to a lieutenant if she's
I
not
think you
even?
you have to have that position to take the certification. It's just like, you know, if you hire someone to be your deputy sheriff, you don't send them to the academy before you hire them. They've gotta be hired, they've gotta be employed first in that position. If I understand it right.
You gotta be a deputy before you're, not a deputy, to be a deputy?
You know, like Carrie, you know, we hired her as, to fill in for Strickland, take Tommy Strickland's place as deputy sheriff, and then we sent her to the academy.
All the jailers get certification.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess.
That might not be right, but
Well,
that's the
let's
way
say,
I
mean,
understand it.
To me, in my brain's telling me I don't quite understand how
I
it could possibly
can
work.
understand, you know, you gotta be hired on to get your jail certification, but is this a different certification that, or is this just a basic certification?
I would guess this is a different one. We'll ask him.
That's why. I guess
Actually, it was only a couple meetings ago, it was 50 cents.
I know, that's what I remember.
Sorry, was on the phone.
Yep, okay. We're on Kimberly right now.
Yep.
I think you need to explain the different levels, because Kim was just given 50 cents, what?
Yep, she was moved to a supervisor position, and now she just completed her certification,
Which certification?
jail certification for a jail officer. They go through a certification process. It's a correspondence course.
So is she a lieutenant now, or what is she?
No.
What did she get promoted to before that? Is it corporal,
Cor-
lieutenant?
She's corporal right now, that's what she got promoted to. Correct. She's
Okay,
not,
So she got promoted without being certified,
yes, she did.
right?
She went to a supervisor position,
Yes,
last raise. Now, this raise is to reward her for her certification.
correct. We didn't have the results back, the tests were sent in, we just got the results back after the fact. So,
Any other discussion then? Here none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, we're at jail roof.
no updates on it, they found an area up there by the roof unit, and they did a patch up there. They think they've got it, but they don't know, of course now everything's frozen. All the affected material's been removed from the ceiling, that did collapse, and most of it was sheet rock. And we got that out of there, so just waiting, I guess, to see what we're gonna do. If it thaws and we have another leak, I don't wanna put anything back up there, you know, as far as material, and have it ruined again, so. Just kind of a waiting game.
The wood that you took down had black mold on it, didn't it?
Yes, it did. But all the stuff that had that was all cut out. The contractor cut it out, so. But that's all stuff we wouldn't see,
Right.
because of the sheet rock. And then when the sheet rock gave way, that's the part of the ceiling that fell down. There's plywood above that, and then it's concrete and some steel, so. But all that's been taken out,
We'll just play a waiting game then right now.
pretty much. Like I said, I don't wanna, gotta wait and see if that's gonna hold, or if that's gonna work. I don't wanna put material back up there and have it ruined again, so.
Anything else with the jail, the roof?
That was more of an FYI, I didn't know if everybody knew about it, I talked to some of you, so. Kevin, I caught you in the hallway when you were meeting on 4-H, but. And Scott, I've been talking to you a lot lately with the snow days, so.
Not a problem. Anything else for Josh?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Could I ask a question? Whatever happened to the jail committee? Has there been any action? Did they make a definition that if they were going to build a new jail or not?
Pretty much died with the input that we had in it for right now.
What input did you have? Wasn't it, I thought the consensus was that it should go to the vote of the public.
And then, well, between the input of, are we gonna put all this money into fixing up the jail now? And that vote, the input there was to say, yeah, we gotta put money into it for right now. And everybody else said, well, if we're putting money into it to fix it up, it should last for another 20 years. And that's pretty much where it was left at.
I wasn't aware of that. Thank you.
Anything else there? Now we'll move on to year-end meeting date. What do you think, Becky?
Would the 29th be okay with everyone?
I won't be here the 29th. I got scheduled for surgery that day.
Makes no difference to me.
I got an appointment in Rochester on the 27th. My wife has got an appointment in Rapid City on the 26th.
About 22nd.
What the hell's wrong with you guys?
Too early.
Old
We have a
age.
meeting on the 20th already, so the 22nd wouldn't make a difference.
Oh,
Probably gonna have to just make it the 29th then, huh?
Have it 29th and I just won't be here. Fine.
Basically just to pay e-bills.
mine's on the
I guess let's just
26th.
leave it on the 29th, not. Clear up the year.
This meeting is kind of just to pay bills, or?
Basically,
Huh?
yeah, basically that's the main thing that gets done.
So if you have a quorum, you can do that, right?
Well, should we just leave it on the 29th then?
At 9 o'clock.
At 9 then, or?
Yeah. Old business. Anybody have anything? New business.
I have one more question on the equalization thing. Do you notify them?
I was just gonna ask you, you want me to send a letter?
I can, it's up to you. I just wanted to know who was gonna do it.
I'll let you if you want to.
Thank
Or
you.
I can. Or you can write it and I'll sign it, how's that?
I'll notify them, and then when they have a problem, I'll have to call you.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Any new business? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion on the floor, I need a second. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Hey, Becky.